Okay, and trying to figure out which team to do next. Again, I will probably get most of the original 6 done early in this series because there's 50 seasons to look at this stage, and some of these teams have gone through a lot of goalies. Toronto's gone through a lot, and the interesting thing with Toronto is they're not a team that has kept tandems together for very long. They come, they go, and it's usually pretty quick. And I'm not sure how much of this is management not having any patience. Maybe the fans put pressure on management. Maybe it's ownership that doesn't have the patience. But definitely in Toronto, there's an issue with patience. 67-68, so this is coming out of winning the Stanley Cup in 67. Johnny Bower and Bruce Gamble. 68-69, Gamble and Bauer. So Gamble and Bauer are your goaltenders for the first 2 years following that Stanley Cup win. 69-70, it's Gamble and Marv Edwards. 70-71, Jacques Plante comes in after a successful run in St. Louis. And he and Gamble are the goaltending tandem. 71-72, Bernie Parent is their starter. Puts up pretty decent numbers and then gets traded back to Philly. I'm baffled by this. It's Parent and Plante. 72-73. Lowe ends up on this team. This is shortly before he'll be a Washington Capital. And it's Lowe and Plante in Plante's last year. 73-74, Doug Favell comes in from Philly. Ed Johnston and Dunk Wilson's on the list as well. So there's 3 goalies that play 20 or more games. 20 games is the cutoff unless it is a lockout shortened season, and then I try to prorate to 20 games from there. 74-75, we got 3 goalies again. Favell, Wilson, and Gord McRae joins the list. 75-76, Wayne Thomas is their starter. McRae is the backup. 76-77, Paul Matier is the starter. Thomas is the backup. Lot of turnover with starters in Toronto. 77-78, Paul Matier maintains it as the starter. He plays 63 games. Nobody else on the team plays 20. 78-79, Paul Matier and Harrison are your goaltending tandem. 79-80, Paul Matier and Harrison again. Then Paul Matier gets moved out. Yuri Sira comes in from Czech, and the Czechoslovakian player plays 54 games in 80-81 to mixed results and is out again. 81-82, Bunny Larocque ends up coming in. Of course, Larocque came in from Montreal due to a dispute we'll get into in my history videos this coming week. And Vincent Tremblay was the backup, and I got to say, the goaltending for Toronto that year was not fantastic. 82-83, Paul Matier, 53 games played in his return to Toronto, and it was a short return. 83-84, Bester plays the most games, followed by Paul Matier and Rick St. Croix, who's come in from Philly. So a lot of guys getting moved in and moved out. 84-85, Bernhardt is their starter, and Reget is the backup. 85-86, Don Edwards plays the most games of any goaltender in Toronto, followed by Reget and Bernhardt. A lot of turnover. 86-87, Reget's the starter, Bester's the backup. Same in 87-88 and 88-89. Bester's the starter, Reget's the backup. So 3 years in a row, Reget and Bester had to play behind defense that was a misadventure at times. Play for a team that was not being run particularly well by an owner that was pretty reviled at the time in Harold Ballard. And just management that just was mostly a disaster. And yet, if Toronto gets in the playoffs, they're always viewed as dangerous. And that's something that, again, with history videos, we'll get into that. But definitely a team that had the goaltending, just there wasn't very much in front of it. 89-90, so we're into the 90s. Bester's your starter. Mark Laforest. So Laforest is on another team's goaltending history. Laforest, this is the third. I think this is the final time we'll see him on the board. And Jeff Reese is the backup. 90-91, they go with Peter Ing as the starter, and Reese is the backup. Ing is gone in 91-92 when Grant Fuhr's brought in. So again, Ing's not on the board anymore. Fuhr plays 66 games. So Grant Fuhr, who is a little past his prime, but still capable of having some excellent nights along the way, plays 66 games. 92-93, a new kid. Felix Potvin is the starter. Grant Fuhr is the backup. Fuhr's moved out for 93-94. So it's Potvin and Damian Rhodes. Rhodes that would go on to play in Ottawa. 94-95, it's Potvin and Rhodes again. 95-96, Potvin plays 69 games. So 69 games for Potvin, a workhorse, and he's not really remembered as fondly by fans as I think he should be, because of how towards the end of his career he would struggle. He'd get moved to a new team, he'd do well, and then all of a sudden it would just all fall apart, whether it was with the Islanders, whether it was with Vancouver, LA, and then he had the really short run with Boston that it just didn't work. But at this point it did. With 69 games in 95-96, 74 games in 96-97, 97-98 he splits duties with Glenn Healy. 98-99, and by split duties I mean Healy played about 20 games. 98-99, Curtis Joseph comes in. So Joseph comes in for his run, plays 67 games that first year, and was fantastic. So there are some really solid goaltenders coming into Toronto, but they don't have the longevity that goaltenders have in other cities that I've done these videos on. Joseph and Healy are your goaltenders in 99-2000. 2001, Curtis Joseph plays 68 games. So again, nobody else reaches 20. 2001-2002, it's Joseph and Corey Schwab. So nice to see Corey Schwab on the list. Schwab was, I thought, an underrated backup at times. 02-03, Belfour is now in. Belfour plays 62 games that year. So they go from Joseph to Belfour. Belfour, who'd won a Stanley Cup in 1999 with Dallas. Pretty decent goaltender. So again, big name comes in for Toronto. 03-04, Belfour plays 59 games that year. No backup plays more than 20. 05-06, it's Belfour and Tellquist. Tellquist, who was expected to become a starter, and it never really worked out for him. 06-07, here comes Ray Croft. So the much maligned and a deal that Toronto fans would love to have not seen get done. Ray Croft comes in. Aubin is the backup. The one time he appears on the board for Toronto. 07-08, Toskala plays 66 games. And Toskala takes a lot of comments from Toronto fans too, but Toskala was decent that first year. First year he was pretty good. After that it was, 08-09 they brought Joseph back. He backed up Toskala. 2009-2010 it's the monster. Jonas Gustafsson. I always felt horrible for Jonas Gustafsson. So Gustafsson's playing in Sweden, minding his own business, playing relatively well. And the monster. I heard Pierre Maguire say it over and over and over. Just wait till the monster. And I'm like, oh, stop calling him the monster. Gustafsson was an average goaltender. He wasn't fantastic, but he got built up. So when he came over and he didn't quite live up to the advanced billing, I think he was viewed as being worse than what he was. And that was with Toskala as the backup. 2010-2011, Reimer is brought in. And Jaguar and Gustafsson are 2 and 3 on games played. Reimer is, again, another guy that I think was probably better than he gets credit for. Because, again, these Toronto teams, some of them are just abysmal, and it's pretty easy to point your finger at a goaltender when your team isn't playing particularly well. 2011-2012, Gustafsson's the starter, Reimer's the backup. 2012-2013, Reimer and Scrivens split the net. Reimer, of course, is in net for that 7-game series against Boston. Everybody remembers Game 7. I remember him stealing other games in the series. It's fine. 2013-14, Bernier's the starter with Reimer as the backup. Bernier's the starter in 2014-15 with Reimer as the backup. And the same tandem again. So Bernier and Reimer last 3 years. Then new management decides we're going to make a whole change. 2016-17, Anderson comes in, plays 66 games. And he played 66 games last year as well. So even though McElhinney came in and played well, he didn't reach the 20-game mark, so he's not on the board. I couldn't make a change to that for this without going back and revisiting all the other videos as well. So where does that leave us? Well, with tandems, Reggett and Bester, Bernier and Reimer have 3 years as tandems. That's the record for Toronto with keeping a tandem together where the backup plays 20 games. Jacques Plante had 3 years. Bernie Parent had 1. Paul Matier had 6. That's 6. Get 6. Reggett had 5. Potvin had 6. Joseph had 5. Belfour had 3. Reimer 6. Toskala 3. And Alan Bester had 5. So the longest any goaltender has gone on this list is 6 years. 6 years of 20 more games. That's it. In a 50-year history. And the interesting thing, of course, is here's Anderson going into year 3, And there's already talk about, well, Anderson's not the guy who's going to get them over the hump. Well, Anderson's a good goaltender, but they're probably going to have to improve their goaltending if. And this is a conversation I've heard before. I've heard this before. Joseph's good, but he kind of fell apart towards the end. Yeah, Belfour's good, but he's over the hill, and Potvin good, but in the playoffs. So again, this is a conversation that Toronto fans have been having for about 50 years. They've gone through 41 goaltenders who've played 20 or more games in a season, and since 2000, 14. So, again, this all started because of the whole Brian Burke making a comment about Vancouver being the goalie graveyard. And at the time thinking, well, yeah, Vancouver goes through goalies, but a lot of teams go through a lot of goalies. Toronto, honestly, they have gone through a number of goaltenders in the last 50 years. And it's been a high number at times. I think it's settled down a lot over the last decade. But again, they seem to have problems sticking with just one goaltender. And I do think, and I'm saying this honestly, openly, publicly, Freddie Anderson can win a Stanley Cup. I don't think Freddie Anderson will cost them a Stanley Cup. I think he's a very solid goaltender. But time will tell. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. It's been 50 seasons of Toronto goaltending. And again, I will do this on every team minus Vegas. I don't really need to do Vegas. I don't think I need to. Here's Fleury. Bye, everybody. I don't think I need to do that. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I will talk to you again soon.